Years ago, I met Akash, 11-year-old boy who lives in a village in West Bengal called Harwa. West Bengal is in India, and his mother Gauri. Akash goes to public school and Gauri is a fish farmer. And I noticed they had these scales in their hand, the type that you see on the screen here. And I was told that it's sign of arsenic poisoning. Later that day, I met Shenaz. You'll see her on the screen. She is 18 and she's doing her grade 11. She complains about really severe feet problems or pain. The next day, I went to a district called East Medinipur in West Bengal, and I met Rajan. You'll see him hauling water here. He goes to a public school some days, and other days he brings water to support his family. Now, not just these kids and their families, I learned that 27 million people in India are suffering from arsenic and fluoride poisoning, or facing the risk of it, because it naturally exists in the groundwater. And I was really shocked. Personally, I had not been exposed to such a severe and urgent threat. And not only me, it seems governments were waking up and feeling the same urgency. So Government of West Bengal and Government of India approached us to bring $240 million loan. They proposed what they had always done, public standpost based scheme to these villages to shift them from arsenic and fluoride. Prolonged exposure to arsenic can cause cancer, and prolonged exposure to fluoride can cause fluorosis or bone diseases. So again, I looked at it to say, is this all that we are aspiring to for impacting these people's lives? And research had found, I reminded them that if you don't have household water flowing into your tap, you don't have them out of the health risk or the drudgery, because if you even have to step 2 steps further out to a public tap, you may continue drinking the contaminated water or using the contaminated water. And government had a very rational reason of their own. They said, ma'am, we don't want to set a precedent. It's a rural scheme. It has to be simple and basic. These words kept ringing in my head, and I thought, this is this bias that we all have. Not just them, policymakers, our other stakeholders that I discuss with, development partners, even communities themselves had resorted to the fact that it has to be basic and simple. I had noticed Gauri and Akash and Shenaz and the villagers all had smartphones. And you will know most places in the world, they may not have toilet, but they will have smartphone these days. Why couldn't you just give them customer interface? You know, Gauri could just say, we're not getting water, and just click the button and it goes to a cloud server. You have long transmission pipes in rural schemes. You just tag along a SIM-based sensor and you'll transmit data, hey, water is flowing, the pumps are flowing, and it's not manned because these are rural areas. All the more you need technology there to do it better. But they thought it'll cost more. And they can't set a precedent because 74 million rural people in West Bengal may then again demand it. And most of them actually had no piped water, forget about even standpost-based scheme. Also, we wanted women to run this, communities to run this, and I had seen how dynamic Gauri was, how dynamic Shenaz was, and these ladies there. So they said, I was sitting in a meeting and one of the high-level government officials whispered in my ear, ma'am, we won't find accountant women here. Then something came over me. I said, how many of you are in self-help group? We were facing a group of 80, 90 people, and 60, 70 were women, and 50 hands went up, and majority women. And I said, how many of you are accountants or are doing accounting in your self-help group? 30 hands went up of all women. So this was a long journey of unshedding biases from both sides. My government counterpart equally pleasantly surprised. So unshedding biases, deconstructing, bringing analysis on the table, cost comparison, cost-benefit analysis to show, in fact, it doesn't cost more. And in fact, it is more sustainable if you do it differently. And They were in the end more excited than me. This would be the first ever large-scale rural water supply project in India that is 24/7, household connected, smart water based, women in the communities running it at this end. My message to you is innovation doesn't need to cost more. It's a process of shedding biases, taking time to bring your client over to this side, to show that you can do things differently, and in fact, it's same cost, more sustainable, and the impact is quadrupled. And 2 weeks back, I went for a review mission. You will see in the picture, whole group of people. Gauri wasn't there, Akash I couldn't find, but their friends, all with their mobile phones taking selfies with me. And they're all excited. They have this mobile phone-based app. They are doing household surveys to do the asset registry. They are identifying which among them would be the plumbers, would be the cloud-based server managers, and would be the accountants. Thank you.